is that the stop and frisk policy he supported as New York mayor disproportionately impacted the Black and Latino community. Take a look.
I didn't understand that back then, the full impact that stops were having on the Black and Latino communities. I now see that we could and should have acted sooner and acted faster to cut the stops. I wish we had. I'm sorry that we didn't.
So, well, come on.
This is not a Bloomberg room.
I feel like a lot of folks are not feeling him on this.
Well, it's just such a problem because in 2013, there was a 195-page decision by Judge Scheindlin in federal court that said this was a huge problem. In 2011, almost 700,000 stop and frisk stops were done on Black and Latino men.
The three
Think
terms.
about what stop and frisk means. It means somebody stops you in the street and touches you. And touches you just by looking at you, thinking that you have a gun or you have drugs.
Racial profiling.
It's racial profiling. And just recent, and then when
Wasn't it ineffective as
it was
well?
very ineffective. When de Blasio took over, I know there aren't a lot of de Blasio fans, but that was in 2014, only 10,000 stops. Only 10,000 stops compared to 700,000.
Well, it's
and
more
guess
than that.
what?
It's over 3 terms. The police recorded over 5 million stops.
Over 5 million. I'm just talking about in 1 year was 700,000. And then when de Blasio took over, crime went down when the stops went down. And just recently, in January, Bloomberg was defending stop and frisk. So where did the epiphany come from?
Yeah. Can we also show something that's a problem for him? I mean, you're right, but...
You know?
We have to show this clip, and I'm not always for clips, but you have to watch this.
It's just not going to happen on a national level for somebody like me starting where I am, unless I was willing to change all my views and go on what CNN called an apology tour. Joe Biden went out and apologized for being male, over 50, white. He apologized for the one piece of legislation, which is actually a pretty good anti-crime bill.
So
That was
don't
March.
come for Biden on him apologizing for things if you're going to be, in my opinion, disrespectful to what I found to be genuine apologies from a candidate who's trying to moderate in a different time than, because he has, been serving for over 30 years, and then come out a few months later apologizing for one of your most well-known policies.
And he said during that segment, that clip, that the anti-crime bill that Joe Biden was a part of was pretty effective. Again, another anti-crime bill that led to the mass incarceration of Black and brown people.
But the question
so he
is,
still doesn't get it.
But having said all that, Sonny, let's say he changes it all around and plans to really correct it. Can he be forgiven?
I don't think so, because it doesn't appear to be truthful. It doesn't. I mean, it seems very disingenuous to me. It's intellectually dishonest. In January, you're saying, yes, I still believe this, and now you're running for the presidency, and all of a sudden, a couple months later, you don't believe it.
That is a
Where
problem.
did the epiphany come from?
Exactly.
Come on.
The epiphany comes from he wants to win.
Yes. Yes.
Listen, you know what? The great thing about politics is nobody is always happy with what goes down.
True.
Yeah.
But the thing that you have to know is that if you have had a stance for a very long time, you can't just kind of come out and go, oh, where am I? Oh, yes.
No, you cannot.
I know. Oh, no, it's all different now. And because people they're looking to see if you say, you know what, I made a gigantic mistake before people bring it up.
Yeah.
Before people call you out on it, because they've called you out on this, Michael. They've called you out on this. And I think you're going to have a harder time now because people are going to be suspect. And I think you have to either just say what you're going to do, like everybody else, and take your licks and then convince us that you're the person to take the job. You can't turn on other people. You can't do what other people have done. You don't have a lot of time to make up. Okay, you got to get your stuff out here much faster. And speaking of getting things
do you
done,
want to do this in the next segment because we have no time? Or
oh no, we made the time for you.
Okay, all right. Well, it says we'll be right back. On
I know, but they're lying.
Okay, I'm sorry. Okay, I'm sorry. I'm really
It's
bad.
good.
Still, it's bad at
Go
the time.
ahead,
That's why I'm not the moderator. Whoopi. Okay, so I was in London. Thank you for letting me off ABC, even though we ended up not being on air for the impeachment anyway. I was at the Magnitsky Human Rights Awards in London, and Sergei Magnitsky was someone who found corruption in Russia, was subsequently tortured and killed because of it. And there is now an act that is in the United States, and we're trying to make it expand globally, where basically Russia can't use the West and democracy for their dirty money, that they can't launder it in countries that love and utilize democracy and freedom every single day. I gave an award to a man named Oleg Sentsov, who's a Ukrainian filmmaker who was imprisoned by Putin simply for coming out against him during the annexing of Crimea. He is an incredible freedom fighter. It's an honor to be there. Last final thing, I also saw Jamal Khashoggi's widow speak, and it was one of the most heart-wrenching, horrific speeches I've ever heard. I don't understand why we're not talking about Jamal Khashoggi and our relationship with Saudi Arabia and the West's relationship with Saudi Arabia on a broader scale. And one last final thing, I know I'm on a little bit of a tangent, but it's just an incredible experience to be a part of. Sergei Magnitsky and the Magnitsky Act was one of the things that Trump Jr. was talked about in the infamous Trump Tower meeting. And Bill Browder, the man who starts it and runs it, was also one of the people. I believe there are people in the Trump administration that are trying to use the West as a slush fund for Vladimir Putin and Russia, and we cannot let it happen.
Yeah.
Thank you for letting me say that. Thank you. Do not let anyone gaslight you that this is going to be okay. Do not let the Trump family or anyone...
It's not all about adoption?
No, it was about adoption, Sonny.
We'll be back.